Why would the manufacturer do that? Are they crazy? Maybe. But alternatively, they're probably doing that to give a particular finish to the tile. Porcelain. You got thorough body, full body, color body, non-color body. What the hell do these terms mean? We're going to talk about that in this episode. All right. So in this episode, what we're going to do is first, I'm going to describe and define what these terms mean. And then I'm going to show you what these tiles actually look like. So the next time you go to a store, you can clearly identify which one is what. First, let's talk about what a body is. So if you were to take a tile and you cut it in half, you would look at the side of it, that cross section. That inside portion is what's called the body of the tile. And if in a way, you can actually just think about the tile itself is considered the body, the inside of it, and then the surface of it, what we call, you can say that the surface of the tile, the glaze. But when we talk about things like color body, non-color body, thorough body, we're really referring to the inside portion that's underneath the surface of the tile. So let's start off with the word color body. So if we're talking about the body of the tile, as I just described, then color means that they've added a particular dye to the body of the tile in order to change its color. And why would the manufacturer do that? Are they crazy? Maybe. But alternatively, they're probably doing that to give a particular finish to the tile. And this finish makes a huge difference in the installation. Not just, some people think that if you were to drop something on the tile and if it breaks, and if the body of the tile is colored to match the surface of the tile, then you may not notice the chips as much. Although that can be true, but with the large size tiles that we're getting today, the likelihood of a small chip happening on a tile is very unlikely. If anything, you're going to get a crack. So, and we'll get into what kind of tiles are more appropriate for those situations in a second. But let's just focus on color body for now. Where I find color body tiles, where in this case, where the manufacturer is adding a particular dye color to the tile, what it does is that it colors the inside of the tile so that the edges where your grout joints are going to be noticeable are going to be colored to kind of match the particular grout color that you might likely to use to kind of create a seamless look. And in a second, I'll show you guys what these the color body tiles look like. But just keep in mind that when you use a color body tile, the grout joints tend to blend better. They tend to disappear better, especially when you use a grout color that matches the tile. Because if for some reason there's not enough grout in that joint, or you're seeing the edge of the tile, you won't notice it because that dye that they've added to the body of the tile blends with the tile and kind of, again, makes everything disappear. So that's one of the main reasons for color body tiles, is that it has a much better edge finish in the overall finish of the product. In contrast, a non-color body tile is not going to have that. And typically, tiles, the number one ingredient in manufacturing a tile is clay. The second is feldspar, but clay has sort of this pinkish kind of color to it, brownish kind of pinkish color to it. So if you ever pick up a tile and you see this side of it and you see that color, those particular tiles, the non-color body tiles, are going to have that edge finish along its sides. And so if there is a particular curvature, which the larger tiles can get, the more likely they might have a slight bow to them. If that curvature becomes noticeable in the installation as it's sitting beside other tiles, that brown color, no matter how much grout you put into it, might stick up over the other ones, and you may notice that that edge of the tile, the grout joint might start to look a little bit off color than what you expected. So that's where sort of difference between color body and non-color body. My recommendation is if you are working with bigger tiles, you can look at the specifications on the tile and see what uh, their measurements was for the bow that that tile can experience. And sometimes they might have a recommendation in the way you install it. They might say you have to do a one third offset in the installation. You shouldn't do 1.5 kind of brick pattern installation, because that's not going to be appropriate for this particular tile. So again, that's part of what makes the final installation look good is following the manufacturer's recommendation for installation. But even more important, if you do decide to just do it your way, having a color body tile that makes the joint disappear and kind of create a seamless look that most people want is the way to go. And so this is why you want to go for a color body tile versus a non-color body tile in certain applications. Again, it's not so much that if a tile chips that it's going to not be as noticeable. Believe me, it will be noticeable, and especially if it's a polished tile, definitely going to be very noticeable. But we're going to talk about it in the next section about tiles that are going to be more suitable for situations where you might be experiencing some chipping or heavy things might fall on the tile. And so stay tuned. Where the chip situation is going to be more of a concern, you want to work with what's called a thorough body or a full body tile. These terms are interchangeable with each other, so don't confuse that they're different from each other. They mean the same thing. If you want to think about it like this, natural stone, doesn't matter which natural stone you take, are going to have the same pattern, same everything, meaning running the entire depth of the slab, right? So in this case, when they manufacture a particular tile, it's going to have the same effect. In fact, if you do a cross section of a thorough body tile or full body tile, again, same thing, you're going to notice that the pattern that you see, whatever that pattern might be, is going to run right through it. So for instance, let's say we have a kind of a terrazzo kind of effect on the surface of the tile as the design. That's going to run all the way through the tile. And those are the situations where if you do happen to drop something on a tile and it might chip, because that same pattern continues all the way through, it's not going to be as noticeable. All right, so now you know what a color body tile is, what a non-color body tile is, or a thorough body / full body tile is. Let's take a look at what they actually look like. So here's a tile, and I want to speak like this so you can hear me. So here's a tile. It has sort of a travertine kind of look to it. It's a porcelain tile. This is a non-color body tile. As you can see, there's really no particular dye that's added to this tile. It's the color you would expect from a porcelain tile. So, and you look at the edge, I don't know how well you can see from the picture, but again, it's not very much matching what you see on the surface. So this is a non-color body tile. Here's another example of a non-color body tile. Again, right here, we'll flip it around, boom. As you can see, again, no color in the body of the tile. You can see from the edge, you can see not much of a match to it. So as you can see, this kind of brownish kind of clay color exists on the body of the tile. So now let's look at color body tiles and see the difference. Here is a color body tile. It's a black tile on the surface, and then we flip it around. As you can see, they've added a dye to make the back of the tile, the body of the tile, kind of like as close as they can get to black. As you can see, it's not perfect, which is why I kept saying, if you do chip this tile, you're going to see this. So it's not necessarily going to be, a kind of protection for you in that regard. But again, when it comes to noticing the edge of the tile, that will make a huge difference. So again, here you go. As you can see, here's another color body tile. You can see the surface, flip it around, boom. See, they've added a dye, kind of a whitish kind of look, so that they can blend the color with the body of the tile. It's a little bit hard to see on video, so I'm really hoping that it will, be as clear as it can be. But this is an example of a full body tile. And what I see is a pattern that has, just random dots on the surface of the tile. And then when I look at the side of it, I don't know if you can kind of see. I'll try to hold it straight. Maybe this camera can zoom in, but you'll notice a bit of a pattern running through the entire surface of the tile. And so these are the tiles. If you put it in a place where maybe a likelihood of a chip happening might be higher than in some other places, let's say commercial space, then this is the tile you're much less likely to notice a chip on. So this is why like these tiles tend to be used for commercial purposes more than residential. Porcelain already is pretty dense and very strong, and with a proper installation procedure, you're not going to really see a failure unless something drastic happened. So this is the kind of thing that you want to look at when you're looking for. Do you want to see that pattern on the surface of tile running through it? See, here's another example. So again, that terrazzo kind of look that is on the surface of this tile, and then you start to notice this kind of pattern running inside of the tile itself too. So this tile is actually manufactured very differently than the regular porcelain tile. As you can see, the ingredients and everything, the minerals that are actually being used is running through the entire surface of the tile, versus these tiles are polished. They're glazed. They experience a bit of a different manufacturing process. Now let's look at thorough body or full body tiles. So thanks for watching. I hope that cleared it up for you as far as what these terminologies mean. So next time you go out looking for tiles and someone mentions color body or thorough body, you're going to know the difference between those two. If you want to learn more, grab a copy of my book on Amazon, and lots of great information about tile in here. Take care.